Welcome to Tandem Canon, the Gamer Freak podcast where Call plays canon, and where a snowball to the face can be either the start of a beautiful friendship or all-out war. Which I'm voting for war, because if you do that to me, it's going to be war. This is episode 45, Let It Snow, where we'll discuss snowy stages in games. This is Tiffany.
And this is Mia.
All right, let's go straight into the talk from Team Tandem. So, Mia, what have you been up to for gamer homework?
So, I brought my PS4 with me on my cruise, which sounds like sacrilege, but I figured I would have downtime eventually, and I'm glad I brought it because, yeah, it was great. I played a little bit of Assassin's Creed Origins, and man, this game is pretty as fuck. Like, I'm still trying to learn the mechanics of it in terms of fighting and whatnot. It's challenging, and I like it, and it just gives me that sense of purpose. Like, I've done some shit, but it is a gorgeous game. I like it so far, and I see why people are praising this to high heaven. Man, it is lit. I'm just not happy about the animals though to hunt and for crafting, especially the hippos. I'm staying away from them. Been doing that. Been playing Agents of Mayhem. I was talking with Tiff a little bit earlier, but there's so many potential things about this game that could have made it great, and co-op would have been one of them because you have all these characters. They did a really good job on having a diverse group of characters to choose from heroes, and they have different skills and levels of durability and range. And so it's fun experimenting with different characters to see who can do what, who complements each other. But the game really messed up in terms of level design because everything is just go this place, shoot a bunch of things, hack this thing, get into this layer, shoot this, and it's just ad nauseum. And so there's not really a variety of gameplay, but I like the characters themselves that you play as. They're funny, and they have relationships and motivations, and I felt like they did a good job of fleshing them out, but the villains suck ass.
You said there was like a lot of caricatures, right?
Yeah, they were trying to go for that 80s cartoon feel, but it was to the point where I couldn't take the villains seriously as a real threat. I was just like, y'all are just more annoying than anything else. The most annoying one is this Justin Bieber-ish character that happens to be a genius hacker, but he's like a complete pansy. I felt like they were trying way too hard with the humor, the villains especially, but yeah, I just wish this had been co-op because the amount of stuff we can get into just in the game, and for some reason, the world is pretty, but it just feels very hollow. Like, even though they have NPCs and humans running around, I don't know if you remember the NPCs from Saints Row 2 and how animated they were, and they had conversations and their own custom stuff, and they were just kind of all over the place. I wish the world had been populated with more of those because it would have made it feel more alive and real. But yeah, I'm almost done with the game. I've beaten, I think, 4 out of the 5 main villains. I mean, it's okay, but when I look at the potential of the game and what could have been if they included co-op and good level design, y'all really fucked up.
The missed opportunity of what you could have had.
And then I've been playing Just Dance 2014. It's one of my favorite games. I've been on this huge K-pop nostalgia kick lately, and I'm a fan of Psy and his recent work, so I've been just getting it. It's a lot of fun. I've been looking at getting Just Dance 2018 at some point, but I'm gonna wait for a price drop because they do have K-pop on there, so I'm like about to get these.
Branch it.
Shake my ass. Yes.
See you later.
Because
I just see you up there just that hammer dancing. Like, okay, go ahead with your James Brown stuff. What? Okay.
I think the funny thing is people don't understand Psy, he can legitimately dance. He's not just...
he can dance his ass off.
Yeah, and so I respect him very much as an artist, but also just as a performer because he puts in that work. If you watch some of his videos on YouTube, he's much more than just Gangnam Style, and I wish people would get that. But yeah. So what about you? What have you been up to, Tiff?
I played a little bit of Overwatch, and as we're recording this now, it's right before the lunar year is supposed to be coming out soon, and we're still kind of going through the Overwatch League now. So I just played it just to level up, and I haven't really touched it since then. But it's been more like I've been on a Destiny 2 kick still. Yeah, I know, I griped about it last time, but my clan was able to do one of the parts in the Leviathan, which we kind of did it at a last minute thing on Friday, and it's one of the ones where you have to run around in the ring, essentially. 2 people have to grab these orbs, and they have to pretty much do like an obstacle course essentially through a ring, and there's these walls where there's circles. It looks like a broke version of Connect 4, and you have to coordinate with 2 people that are going to be shooting these triangles on the outside on which triangles to shoot to let you know like which circle to go through without fucking up. So it's pretty much like a cool team synergy exercise, and to determine between all of you which of your team is really worth a damn and not. Really have to be in tune and listen to your person that's running around the ring. Eventually, we were able to finish that one, so I thought that was so great. But I also learned that your Leviathan saves. I'm not sure if it only saves for that week, because the start of the Leviathan circles each and every time. So you don't start at the same gate as before. We were so happy just to complete one and stuff, but by the time we were going to do the next one that involves dogs, yeah, that wasn't happening. So that was awesome. We were able to accomplish that. And I also started a new game on Destiny 2. I actually created my hunter this time, and I can understand why Mia had picked the hunter at first, because I get into my stab feels so much.
It's fun as fuck. And especially when you get to snipe people and you get that good kill, it's like, yes!
Stab. It makes me feel like a serial killer as I'm up here trying to reload, and of course, enemies are running up on you. I'm like, stab, trying to reload, stab, trying to reload. I kind of feel like a broke-ass Ted Bundy. This is terrible. But I've so far got my hunter to level 13, but I haven't completed the base story mission yet. It's funny when you go between the different classes, what each class can do and what they contribute. Even from the sake of jumping, how jumping is different compared to me being a warlock compared to the hunter. The hunter's jumps are a little bit more cleaner, where the warlock, you float and you hover for a long-ass time, and you have to use your controls to bring yourself down, kind of like your own version of Warlock Jesus or something. One of my clan members from last night, he's just now playing with the Warlock and trying to level up, and he's like, playing with the Warlock sucks because the jumping is so different. Like, I can't even come back down when I need to, but I completely enjoy it. Just having the clan makes all the difference. So we've been trying to like at least do our Leviathan missions, but yeah, it's going to be worth it once we complete it in full. It'll probably be by the time Destiny 2.3 comes out. But for real, I did actually play another game. I actually attempted to play Overcooked. It's a cool couch co-op game up to 4 people. This can then determine if your friendship will just survive at the end of this. It's kind of like Mario Kart. And I survive afterwards. And so I was able to play by myself up until level 1 of 3 before it got a little bit too complicated. You're these chefs in the kitchen trying to cook up a meal before the timer runs out. You have to take the vegetables out of the bin, then you have to carry it to the cutting board, you have to cut it up, but you have to make sure that you do it in time or else the pot's going to overboil and burn. Then you have to get a fire extinguisher and then extinguish the pot and then start over again. Even after you serve the dish, you have to come back and wash the dish out. So it keeps you on your toes and you feel so stressed out. It's such a pressure cooker game in regards to that. No pun intended. But you're so under pressure. And when I was playing the game with my husband and reading this article that you will tap into your inner Gordon Ramsay, and I found out I did. Panicking, it does bring out the worst in you, especially when you're trying to work as a team unit and making sure that everyone's on track about what you're trying to do. So when Mia eventually comes over to play and see how it goes, and if we're still friends after that, we'll see.
I think we got good synergy though. So I think once we get the mechanics, I think we can get it.
It's pretty difficult. So I can't wait to see how that is with 3 or 4 people. So it's a good party game. And if you really don't like a person, this is a good game to break up your friendship on. Just there you go.
How to end your relationship
with Overcooked.
Jesus. Are you sure you want us to play together? Because like
you said, we have good synergy. I think we'll enjoy it because we usually get games like that. So I think we'll be fine.
Okay.
It's just other people. You're just like, you got me so fucking worried right now.
I'm scared. Like
DoorDash and stuff like that is about the same thing.
Cooking Mama.
Yeah, it is the most stressful game I've ever played in my life.
No.
But fun.
But in other news, we skipped news last time. We apologize. It's just like, hey, it's Christmas, y'all. Turn up. But we have some good and some really bad news. Yeah. Good news is Let's Play Gaming Expo has announced their dates for this year.
Yay!
And yeah, it's going to be a 3-day event, which is wonderful. The bad news is it is going to conflict with Classic Game Fest in Austin, July 28th through the 29th. And so we made an executive decision to attend Let's Play Gaming Expo since we've been with the expo since its inception. And it just felt right because it's local, it's homegrown. So yeah.
We watched it grow.
Yeah, we watched it grow and it's still growing and it's doing amazing things. But it's going to be a 3-day event this time. So 27th through 29th. Yeah, this is a wonderful opportunity if you are in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I don't know what the tickets will cost just yet, but we'll announce more of our events later on at the end of the episode. But yeah, we're going to miss going to Classic Game Fest because we love Austin and we love going on our gaming adventures, but we are honor bound to Let's Play and watching it grow. So yeah, you'll see us around.
So excited though. In other news, this Nintendo Labo. Oh my gosh. I've seen so many people reacting to it as it being such a cool, intuitive thing, combines electronics with build-a-blocks and building things together. It's so weird to see something like that of two different quote-unquote extremes come together. And Nintendo was able to do that with such ingenuity is great. But of course, a lot of people are up there complaining that you're paying for corporate boxes. So I'm sure there's somebody that's going to be grabbing like a random box from their closet and trying to do it from there. I'm sure.
It's cool because apparently it's designed for children mostly, but it's designed to teach fundamentals of like engineering and physics and whatnot. So incorporating technology at a young age and understanding how physics works and incorporating gaming, like that's really cool, especially when you do have parents out there who think video games are just a waste of time. They don't understand that it's an art form and it's a science and it involves different concepts with programming skills and all that. And so I feel like it's neat. The funny thing was I watched the trailer through Movie Bob and he added the music from Willy Wonka, Pure Imagination. And I swear to God, the thing came on, I heard the music, I was quiet the entire 3 minutes. I don't know what I was doing at the time. I think I was on my laptop doing something. I stopped and I just watched the thing and I was in utter shock. I think my jaw was on the floor. And by the end of it, I was like, I want the thing. Give me the thing. I want to do the piano.
I wanted the piano and the real steel, the Rock'em Sock'em Robot.
Yes!
Like, that was freaking cool. You got to see how the ingenuity was. I've seen in stores things like crafting and Connect, but it's kind of funny now to see this doubling up with something so electronically based. It took Nintendo to step forward with that. I could not imagine Xbox coming up with this.
No.
They kind of did with Connect brand using your body as the remote, but it took Nintendo with their imagination to really bring these elements together. That is just incredible in itself.
Man, I couldn't imagine anybody but Nintendo being able to pull this off.
If Sony came up with this, everybody was like, you know what, Sony, you can take your boxes and shove it. Tell them to kick rocks 9 ways to Sunday.
Nintendo, they've always tried to be innovative and they've thrived on that. And I feel like they're getting back to that standard that they were a decade ago, like with the Wii. If this is successful and this actually does something and goes somewhere, the Switch, oh my gosh, it's going to leave everybody else in the dust. Like,
oh, complete. It's already ahead. Just the Switch units themselves is already selling ahead of everything else. The bulky other consoles cannot keep up with. And it continues to evolve each and every time and blowing everybody away. I generally think that this is going to sell well because it's already intriguing people.
In other news, we found out some really awesome developments. There is a cruise for gamers. If you are ever interested, it's called GakuCon, GacuCon, and they have a convention every year in June in Florida. This cruise is a gaming convention cruise, essentially, but it's going to be June 20th through the 25th in 2018. But part of the package includes their land expo that they do also in Miami, which is really cool. So you could go to the expo in Miami, do the thing, and then be on a cruise for 4 or 5 days. But everything's included. There's even like drink packages and stuff like that that's included. We stumbled across this. The organizers were just like, hey, we wonder how much it is. And they responded to us in what, 6 minutes flat?
6 minutes, because they're just like, come and do the shit.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
It's like, we would if it wasn't so freaking like short notice and stuff. But yeah, it sounds like a great idea. We were talking about on cruises and how there are so many cruises out there that are nerd oriented, either like Game of Thrones or comic books for Marvel. But you don't really have that many video game oriented cruises out there. And this is the first one we've heard about.
Yeah, this year it's going to the Bahamas and they're leaving from Fort Lauderdale. So if you have the opportunity, go ahead and do the thing. We're plotting for next year because we want to try this out because this looks fun. So
also, there's this community gaming tour called Go Games 360. This has all the elements of video games to actual physical activity games. Dodgeball. When was the last time we actually got to play dodgeball? And Quidditch camp, laser tag, bumper car soccer. And they have escape rooms, all kinds of games, board games, magic, and all of those just under one roof. And apparently they're in multi-cities. Dallas has one at the end of January, which unfortunately by the time this post, it'll be this weekend. But there's going to be one in Austin in October, one in Houston next month on February 10th through the 11th, one in Corpus Christi, March 10th through the 11th, also one in Laredo in March. This may be the second year that they've done this. So if you're in any of these cities, do that. And especially if you have kids, it's a great place for you to just go and experience how community is important for gaming in all aspects, no matter what they are.
But you can go to gogames360.com and it gives you all the info you need. So, Tiff, are you ready to level up?
Man, it's too cold to do that shit.
Well, fuck it. We're going to do it anyway. Let's level up! For today's tandem topic, tea time, we're going to be talking about the snow levels because it's too damn cold in these streets.
Yes.
Our favorite snow and ice levels in video games. Because I don't know if you guys are aware, but Texas, we've had a little bit of a cold snap up here. And it's been in the single digits and we're not happy about it. And we're just like, no.
I know it seems like a first world problem, but we're not used to that.
We're not.
Really not used to single digits. The teens is cutting it to us.
Tiff, do you want to get us started? Or sorry, I'm really singing a lot.
No, singing is good. I love the singing because it warms my heart.
Oh, I wish it would warm up this weather, but no.
That's why the singing is helping. It's definitely helping.
Exactly.
The first one was the King's Row stage in Overwatch. And of course, this happened during the Winter Wonderland where everything was festive and dressed up for Christmas and there was snow everywhere. If you got May's little emote, she can build a snowman. It was just great. And I just love how with Overwatch, a lot of the characters can be dressed up as Torbjorn, as Santa Claus, May, and Lucio. And Tracer was able to dress up as Elf. So you're in all of your Christmas feels. And it doesn't help that the payload was a sleigh. So I'm like, where's Rudolph? I just want to go inside and have some hot cocoa if I wasn't getting shot at by Anna and stuff. So I just loved their Winter Wonderland. I thought that was just so well done. And I just wish that stage could stay around, but unfortunately it's one of those things that you can only have during a certain holiday. So
I mean, it was cool though. They knew how to do the damn thing. It was great. I like how you could hear the music, and King's Row was my favorite personally.
It looked so magical, even though there was murder in those streets.
Another one we had was Journey, the very last stage, the end stage right before the game finishes. We've talked about this before and how Journey just fucked up our entire feelings, especially at this part. But it's one of our favorites because it's so meaningful in what it represents. Because every other time, like everything's all shiny and bright and brilliant and you're just in the sun and enjoying life. And then you get to this cold, mountainous, snowy place and it seems so desolate trying to grasp onto the little life that you can. And so it really makes you feel cold just trying to walk through the land and getting through the blizzard, trying to survive and avoid the giant, I want to call them serpents, but that's not exactly right.
Snow kites or something. Like, they were creepy as you were trying to like traverse through the land, especially when you're hyped before they caught sight of you and dipped down. Pretty much tore up your scarf. You had a different experience from me. When you first played through, you actually had someone to come along with you. When I was doing it, trudging it through the snow, it made it so much more despairing. Because there was no one else to accompany me, it definitely made the journey a little bit more strenuous and lonely.
Yeah.
Especially with the snow blowing you everywhere as you're trying to get to the last part. Spoiler alert, by the time you get to the base of the mountain, you pretty much tip over. And so you're just like, if I did, when you make it there. But then you ascend to this magical place where it's beautiful and glorious as you're flying through the sky and lifts you out of that despair when you find paradise essentially at the end. As beautiful as snow is, it can also showcase how isolation can trickle into that and how utterly alone and how defenseless you can be at the end of it all. I think that was really great how that was showcased instead of like the alternate of what you can see in King's Row.
Couldn't have said it better myself. What's another one you had, Tiff?
Last of Us. This is one of the first times where you're able to play as Ellie for a couple of stages. This takes place at a lakeside resort. Unfortunately for Joel, he got injured, but not only does she have to deal with the infected, there's also some other assholes, cannibals, that she has to avoid. So you have to traverse and try to escape, so trying to avoid and take out as many of these other baddies. If only they didn't have to deal with struggle each and every time. This would have been a great vacation. It seemed like it was a nice place where it just showcased peaceful lake ideal before the world had gone to hell. Anyway, what else do you have?
I had to put Mario Kart 64 with Sherbet Land, and I love it because it makes you feel there's a certain joy about that specific level, just with the ice and snow. You see the penguins everywhere, and it's one of probably the most frustrating levels because of the ice and how you can slide in and stuff, but it's also really cute, so you can't really get mad at it when you slide in the water. And
yes, you can.
Well, you can get mad, but it's kind of hard to stay mad. I just want to hang out with the penguins. Like, let me just do this. The music is fun. The level design is just wonderful. And so it's actually, I think, one of my favorite tracks, even though it's frustrating as hell. It just makes me feel like the magic and joy of winter, and especially the holiday season. Oh, this is fun. I always have good feelings attached to it. So yeah.
Another one I had was, of course, Rise of the Tomb Raider. On the cover of it, it advertises that she's going to be in all kinds of like snowy trouble. And she goes into a little bit of snow on the first game. But the Rise of the Tomb Raiders, you're in Serbia. Automatically, as soon as she lands on this part, she's up there climbing up ice cliffside with her 2 picks and stuff, up there doing the business through the snow until she gets to the hub of where you come back a lot and like buy upgrades. This land is just so unforbidden between the people from Trinity. But of course, there's animals. You can hunt and upgrade your weapons to where they're able to hit these things with no problem. So, such a freaking fun game. Like, I just want to make them suffer.
Damn. Remind me not to cross you, like, ever.
Hey, I can't help it. It's fun when she has the ones that have the flame on the end.
Oh,
Toasty!
shit. I'm gonna stay away from you.
She's a survivor.
Another game I had to put was The Sims.
Yes.
Sims especially do such a good job when it comes to any season-related content. Okay. Sims 2 was great because they actually had seasons, and your kids could get days off. If it gets too snowed in, they can't go to school today. They get to stay at home, and the kids are like, yay! Turn up, and they're just really excited. And especially if you have holiday packs installed, it made the game feel more real. One of my favorite parts about Sims 2 is the little penguin NPC that comes out when it gets really super cold.
Yeah.
And he's like, hi everybody. Oh, you're so adorable. So clearly I have a thing about penguins.
I'm surprised your family did not kidnap them if only they were able to. Like, let me find a hack where I can like have a penguin as a pet.
Like, it's cool that you can pet it, but it's like, can I adopt it? I want to get penguin.
Can I have it?
Yeah.
I'm about to snatch that. I could just see your sim that's the klepto still NPC
God.
penguins.
That would be awful.
Especially this 9/10 of the law.
Yeah. But, I mean, it was really cool that the game was intuitive enough to do that, and the snow would get everywhere, like, literally.
Yes.
So, they did a good job with that. Also, Sims 3, when you got seasons, it's one of my favorite expansions for Sims 3, it would literally coat the entire town in snow. You could hang holiday lights, and it just made you feel like, okay, this is cool. I like what they did here, especially if you have a fireplace and you have your Christmas content, your holiday stuff, especially if you're a family-oriented simmer like I am, and you have the family wanting to hang out more and having hot chocolate. It just makes you all warm and gooey inside. It just feels wonderful. It's kind of sweet. Or you can be an asshole and just set everything on fire or freeze someone to death.
Hey, it was an accident. Damn it. What I also liked about Sims 3 is, like you had said before, a lot of times the kids were able to get off of school, but it depended on how many days you had set for your seasons. If you had a really long season or a long year, your kids could practically be out of school for a week. There was one time where my kids were out for 7 or 8 days because the snow was just so bad. But a lot of times they would either just be outside playing in the snow, or I'll have them go to the community park, so they'll go ice skating and snowboarding, and so they can do that stuff as a family, which they love doing. So
that was awesome. What was another one you had?
Far Cry 4. You didn't really deal with snow a whole lot until you did certain missions that sent you into the Himalayas, and the Himalayas were a bitch. There was only, I think, like 2 or 3 missions where you legitimately had to go. But what was difficult about this was, like, not only did you have to face enemies, they made it a little bit more realistic, where you had to find oxygen masks to stay alive because the air is so thin up there. You trying to time everything accordingly. You're also trying to fight for survival on your own. So that really made it more challenging to go from station to station and kill people intricately too. If I tried to stealth kill as many people as I could, if you were too strenuous, you started losing your oxygen a lot faster, doing it diligently. I appreciate them putting that element in the game because they're definitely hyped up and made you really concentrate on how you were going to accomplish this particular mission. Because I couldn't imagine trying to avoid all those fucking leopards and stuff and try to keep my breath too, because on a couple of them there were leopards. Challenging but good. It was fun. And me is like, fuck no.
Get that shit away from me. Nope. No, but I will give them credit because the Himalayas, the mountains that they had in game were gorgeous. It was a pretty game, but hell no, you could not pay me. Well, actually you could, but I'd be screaming and peeing my pants, so probably not a good idea.
What else you got?
GoldenEye, actually. The Severnaya surface area, right before you have to, like, shut down the satellite and all that stuff. I love the level design of it, because even though it's linear, it kind of felt open world, because you had to go to all these different houses, cabins and stuff in pick up items and take out enemies. You had to think about what direction you were heading and making sure that you blended in, because if you were standing up too high among the snow and the path that they already had laid out, you could alert enemies and that could cause a firefight. So it was really cool. It was a relatively short part of the mission as a whole, but it was just kind of nice, like how detailed it was for the time, because it's a Nintendo 64 game. So it's not the most graphically appealing, but for its time and what you could do, being able to infiltrate different cabins and stuff, it forced you to get out and explore the territory before actually going and shutting down the satellites and stuff. So I like how they set up the level. As soon as you start the mission, you see the satellite looming in the distance, and it kind of gives a sense of foreboding of what's at stake here. But it's just one of those iconic games, and that one's one of my favorites. So I had to put that one down. So
I agree.
What else did you have, Tiff?
Star Wars Battlefront. And technically you can put any Star Wars here. You could even put Super Empire Strikes Back in here too. Just the Hoth level period. But Battlefront, of course, you get to ride a freaking Tauntaun in the battlefield. And I'm so cool with that.
That's awesome. That is so fucking cool.
It's so freaking cool. I mean, half the time I get cut down really quickly when I'm riding my Tauntaun. But at the same time, I can appreciate it for what it is. It's like, I won't get this opportunity in real life, so why not in the game? Also, it brings it real to form that you can also recreate this awesome battle that we see in the movie countless times, but be up close and personal with it and get the struggle between trying to keep your side up and alive and stuff. But I think Hoth was one of the hardest levels we had to do. A lot of times, I know when we first started playing either of the Battlefronts, that was the level that we lost probably one of the most at first.
It was devastating.
It is number 2. Definitely shine this element. You had more classes to deal with, but if you wanted to play with, of course, your heroes, you got them for like a tiny bit longer period of time at various stages of time between the Republic and the Rise of the Empire. I definitely value number 2 better. Or when we played the tutorial, it was so pretty. It felt real.
One of the good things about the game was just how pretty it was. But yeah.
Just being on Hoth, that alone is enough for you to get your Star Wars skivvies on. Oh my gosh.
So you played Uncharted 2. What was it about that one? Because I've seen the videos of Nathan just kind of sitting, chilling in the train.
Oh, yeah, when he was injured. What I had mentioned last time. Yeah, that was a definitely icy part. And I love how after you get out of said part, you have to deal with enemies while you're injured. So, but I think he either gets rescued or he passes out and gets rescued. And he goes to that village. But eventually from there, of course, he has to continue trying to find Shambhala. And as he's going through this ice cave, which is gloriously done and beautiful, you get to face off with Yetis. So when you're up there trying to find forbidden and long lost places, please take a whole bunch of ammo. Just saying.
Another one we had was Ghost Recon Future Soldier.
Yes.
The reason we had to put this one because there is a specific mission called Silent Talent. You get introduced to Warhound, but it's a giant mechanized weapon that looks kind of like a little mechanical elephant. But yeah, it's basically a giant weapon that can destroy a lot of shit in a short amount of time. One of the cool things that I really liked is the short cutscenes that you do get in the game. Before this particular mission, you see the 4 members do their logins for Warhound because they have to verify that it's them before they can use it. 30 being an ass. He's like, oh yeah, it's Queen Elizabeth. And Warhound's like, I'm about to fuck you up and make you on side. He's like, oh, just kidding. Just kidding.
Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Niner, 643, and then like Warhound's just like, okay, the next time
I'm gonna fuck
you ain't
you
gonna
up.
be that lucky.
It's funny because the team's like, now Warhound knows you as Queen, right? And so one of the few opportunities where you get to see the team sort of bond and have that camaraderie that makes them funny characters. I wish we had gotten more of that in the game and more of that backstory and exposition between them and kind of how they all function. But I just thought it was cool. And the level itself is actually cool because you take Warhound down into this bunker and just blow shit up. It's
Pretty
just
much.
amazing. Can you come on all of our missions with us?
Especially when they were trying, fit him into the bunker, or what was it, a ship that they had to traverse to go to the next part?
Yeah.
And wasn't 30 or Pepper talking shit still?
It was 30. It was 30 being...
Always 30. 30 has no chill. I'm like, you mad because he almost blew you the fuck up. That's why.
Yeah.
Like, keep your mouth shut and y'all two can be cool. Y'all can't be Facebook friends, but y'all can still be cool.
It's just a fun mission. Lots of explosions. So that's like right up our alley just to fuck shit up. So it was great. It's just so great. Another one we had to add was Bully.
Yeah.
Because the Winter Wonderland parts where Jimmy's running around, it's Christmas. You get some time off of school. I wish I had played the scholarship edition of Bully.
Yeah.
Because it includes all the really cool shit. shit. But, it kind of tapped into how awesome it is to be a kid, especially in wintertime and Christmas time, where you can just get in all these little hijinks, like build snowmen and stuff. But Jimmy would take it to the next level, as always, having snowball fights with your friends and pranking people and getting into shit. They had additional missions and stuff. Like, one of my favorites is where Jimmy actually has to take part of the school recital. Yeah. And so he's having to play during the dance recital and stuff. And it's just so funny. You get unlocked custom clothing like ugly Christmas sweaters and whatnot.
Oh God, the Rudolph. Oh my gosh. So cute, even though Jimmy's just known for not smiling at all. He's just completely full of frowns. So just seeing him with this cheery ass sweater, he was not for that at all.
And then the mission where he had to go beat up Santa and his elves, the alcoholic Santa. I was like, Rockstar, you really did it with this game. They knew how to really tap into that magic and nostalgia of being a kid, but also being Jimmy and being a little asshole and wrecking the streets and getting in trouble. So I thought it was just one of my favorites. So it was awesome.
As much as I would love a sequel or some kind of game to come after that in that same, I don't know if it can ever come close to Bully. Bully is such a great game on its own that even after it being so many years, because it's been about like over 12 years since it came out, I'm almost okay for it not to have a sequel. That alone just hit the ball out of the park, so I can't imagine that following it up. Jimmy 1 was enough to strangle.
Oh Lord, yes. I can see why his parents dropped him off. I would have done it too, not gonna lie.
I'm saying, little mouthy bastard. Another one I had was Batman Arkham Origins. This one actually takes place 5 years before Arkham Asylum hits. Batman is in his second year of being a crime fighter and stuff, so he's kind of like new on the scene and everything's a little bit figure out his place as being a superhero and stuff. And this takes place during Christmas. Not only is it already cold there and everything's decorated for Christmas, as cheery as you can decorate Gotham, because Gotham's already looking like a hellhole anyway. It's kind of like putting a chandelier up and a cardboard box. There's not much you can do. But when it comes to this, Batman is trying to go around and protect Gotham, but unfortunately he has to run into Black Mask, who has a bounty on his head. And practically he summons about, I believe, 8 other villains to practically collect said bounty. So Deathstroke and Deadshot to collect on said bounty. And for him being such a quote-unquote young crime fighter, it definitely tests his merits as a crime fighter. And if this is something that he wants to continue, but he definitely prospers out of that, even through the snow and the sleet, pretty much getting the shit beaten out of him by Bane. I had to do that a couple times. So yeah, definitely keep your festiveness when you're a bat cape wearing crime fighter in the middle of winter. That must suck. Like, does he have thermal underwear underneath that? Like, I don't know. It's already chilled to the bone. That shit has to come with some kind of like heat sensor wear, something.
Toasted undies. Another one we had was Saints Row 4. It's just one of our favorite games. But How the Saints Stole Christmas by far is one of my favorite Christmas DLC packs in the infinite amount of packs that they release. But because new missions available, there's like this wormhole in time where you get to go back with future Shaundi. They have the North Pole. And I like the level design. I like the mission design. It was fun. It was goofy. And lots of pop culture Christmas references. I think they made one about Christmas Story, The Grinch That Stole Christmas, It's a Wonderful Life, Miracle on 34th Street.
Everything.
It was really funny. It was actually well done. And I think my
narrated by Jane Austen. I mean, yes. Come on.
Jane Austen. I'm like, ma'am, don't you got something to do?
She's like, no.
Clearly.
I'm dead. No.
Clearly. I think my favorite part was the Professor Genki Christmas edition stuff.
Yes.
Those missions, that was hilarious. And just getting into so many different hijinks. It was great. Yeah. So if you do get a chance to play Saints Row 4, I don't know if they still have the DLC available because Volition's slowly shutting down servers for things and hopefully making way for Saints Row 5. We don't know. But if you do get a chance to play it, definitely do. It's fun, it's goofy, and it's a really good way to cap off the series. So it was cool. Another one was Lego Harry Potter. I think I had to pick years 1 through 4. I felt like it captured the magic of the series, and it's still
before it got dark.
Yeah,
that's
like in the
still innocent,
the innocence of the holidays, and it was really cool because Hogwarts would change with the seasons as you moved along in the year. So when year 1 comes around and everything's covered in snow, you see Christmas trees everywhere, and you have the John Williams soundtrack, the score with it, and so it's like, oh, Hogwarts at Christmas. just all up in my feels. Like, this is so great. And I liked year 3 when Prisoner of Azkaban, the parts where you get to go to Hogsmeade. That was even more fun because there's all this craziness going on. There's people getting stuck.
And like snowdrifts or getting frozen, and then you have to rescue them because I think you had to rescue a student per level. So
yeah, and there was just so much chaos going on. There's stuff flying around. People are getting in snowball fights. There's stuff that you have to collect. There's just so much going on just in that one little square, but it's covered in snow and it's magical and wonderful. And even during the parts where the Dementors were coming in and every now and then, it was just like, oh, this is kind of creepy, but the snow just made it feel even colder.
Right.
When they would float around, it's like, oh, stay away from me. I feel creeped out and you're just shaking and chills. And so I love Lego Harry Potter. It's great.
I do too. More butterbeer.
Oh yeah, butterbeer. I forgot about that. That was awesome.
Yeah. The butterbeer. I want the butterbeer right now. Last but not least, I had to mention Assassin's Creed 3, and you get a couple of snow things, I believe, in Syndicate, but in this particular one, it changes with the seasons. It just depends on which stage of life you're dealing with. So in and out, you deal with snow. When Haytham was up there chasing Zio, he had to deal with a couple snow trips. When Haytham and Connor meet in the church to track people in the snow. But it definitely gives the game a little bit more of a fresher coat of paint. What I usually like about Assassin's Creed is as these seasons change or as you deal with each thing, the game is not stagnant with it just being summer all the time. Especially when you have to go to Valley Forge and seeing these men suffer because there is nothing for them to eat because the winter months and it's kind of tough. So you kind of have that element driven into the game too. So I'm kind of glad they introduced that. I just wish that I could see Haytham build a snowman. He needs something cheery in his life.
Well, he had something cheery. He messed that up, so no snowman for him.
Connor can't have a snowman?
No, Connor can have a snowman.
Okay, Haytham, no.
No, Connor needs a snowman. Of everybody, he needs a snowman. Give him his damn snowman.
Mother? Oh, damn it. Now I'm sad again.
Too soon.
So, but yeah, definitely snow is essential in helping you track people. Boom. Anyway, I guess let us go straight into the wheel of random tandem. Are you ready to spin it?
Let's spin this bitch.
Yeah.
Wow. So for today's Wheel of Random Tandem, Tiff, what game, past, future, you can't wait to dash through the snow on?
Skyrim.
Ooh, that's a good one. We didn't mention that one.
Skyrim is not a game that we've been able to play yet, but it's on my list. I would like to play Skyrim before it becomes available on PlayStation 5, I'm sure, at this rate.
Just wait, it will.
But I don't think I have any better incentive than riding my horse through the snow or dashing through the snow being chased by a dragon. I think that's going to be fun as hell. I don't think you need any more incentive than your horse's tail being on fire. So I can't wait to get into Skyrim shenanigans. I think that'll be freaking sweet.
Well, that's pretty awesome.
What about you?
I have to say Yakuza 5. I'm currently playing the game right now, and apparently there's a winter festival that goes on.
Yeah.
And given how immersive this world feels already, I can only imagine the amount of stuff that I'm going to get into. The game actually takes place right before Christmas, and my character is having to buy Christmas presents for people at the orphanage that he used to be at, thinking about all the little kids and stuff like that. And you actually hear, when you pass by certain shops, you hear bells and jingling and music, and it feels really neat. So it hasn't snowed yet, but I can't wait to get to that part of the game and what sort of things that'll unlock some of the craziness, because the Yakuza games are just fabulous. If you get a chance, definitely play at least one of them. It's a really wonderful open world game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I had.
Awesome. So do you have any final thoughts, whatever? I want some tots.
Same.
Good.
Yeah, let's get some tots. These socials, y'all, you know where we're at. Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Tumblr. You can like, follow, subscribe, do all the things. Let us know if there are any topics that you would like us to cover or other events or things that you would like us to come to. Hit us up. We're here. Yeah. So, Tiff, do we have any new followers?
We have a couple. Yay! We have Casey Piper that subscribed on YouTube, Ace Starlitter, Kate Pritchard, Royal ZXO, Joshua Robinson, and they are from Twitter.
Yay.
Thank you.
Hope we don't scare you off, but given how excited we are about this gaming cruise and Go Games, we're a little bit lit right now, so we apologize.
It's going to be a laugh. It's going to be lit as fuck. Laugh.
But speaking of which, we had a couple of special shout outs to Callie K. She's our Twitter bud. Her cat is so cute. She is a cat. It's wonderful. Andrew from GakuCon, because he is a boss. Like, yeah, he's the one that's been emailing us information about the cruise. And yeah, I I've never seen anybody respond so quickly. And I'm like, it's Saturday, boo. What are you doing? But he's been really wonderful and sweet, and he liked our name. So
Kudos. So yeah.
So Tiff, who did you have for your PYT for this week?
I chose GD2 and Health Bars. I started following them like a couple weeks back because they just take like movies and have health bars for stuff. So right now they're doing Harry Potter of different scenes, like with Harry Potter and Remus on the train with the Dementors. They also just did The Emperor's New Groove. So they just take like the health bars, have it go down. I think I started following them when I watched the one on The Force Awakens, the fight between Emo, Rey, and Finn.
They actually put health bars like over each character?
Over each, like, yeah. So it's pretty funny. I'm surprised no one has done this before. Maybe they have, and it's like on another side of YouTube I have not seen before. But yeah, I haven't watched any of the Harry Potter ones yet, but I'm definitely going to do that because I think they're doing the entire series right now. I know they definitely did Prisoner of Azkaban.
That's funny. I like that. I'm going to have to check that out. My PYT for this week is Now This Nerd on YouTube. They're relatively new, but they cover all sorts of different types of pop culture from video games, movies, comic books, and it's wonderful because they have this one recurring series called How to Kill, and so it talks about them from a horror movie perspective, like, you know, how to kill off the Terminator, how to kill off Freddy Krueger, Rambo, for example. And so it's really cool how they go about doing it, and they do talk about different aspects of pop culture like Jumanji and how the video game format of the movie actually made it more palatable to viewers as opposed to like a board game, and how the format worked and all that, and why is it that video game movies don't really sell all that well when you compare it to an actual game. And so it's a really cool video. If you get a chance, watch it. And it's a very multicultural group of people. And so I like what they're
Love
doing.
the commentary. Yeah. I think I'm going to subscribe in a minute.
Definitely. Go do the thing. Yeah. So I guess for upcoming events, we have Women of WonderCon coming up in Dallas at the Dallas Public Library March 10th. It's just going to be awesome. It's free. So if you are in the area, go do the thing. Also, AllCon, March 15th through the 18th in Addison, Texas. Yes, we're excited. They're bringing back the Harry Potter common room and all the activities. I think they've added a couple of things like potions and transfiguration. So we're really excited. So
excited. We're telling as many people as we can, like, you better go. Come on, let's get on this.
Do the thing.
So it was just so much fun. Yeah.
Another one, Fan Expo Dallas is coming up April 6th through the 8th, the Dallas Convention Center. And then the TCC South Campus Anime and Gaming Expo, April 14th in Fort Worth, Tarrant County College South Campus. So definitely check it out. It's a really fun event and it's free. You just have to register through eventbrite.com. So do the thing. And finally, Let's Play Gaming Expo, July 27th through the 29th here in Irving, Texas at the Irving Convention Center. So this is the third.
Actually,
the fourth year. Yeah, it's year 4. Oh my God. We're old.
I know. It's like we've seen it from the ceiling and now it's starting to become a little sprout. I'm so stinking proud of them.
Next thing you know, it's going to be talking back to us and telling us to shut up and you're not my mom.
If that Nebraska law was still in effect.
Oh my God.
We're taking Let's Play all the way back up to Nebraska. So, yeah.
We're super excited about attending all these events and we'll be updating you guys as new things come along. There's a chance that we might be going to Houston sometime in May, and then there's another expo sometime in Arlington in June. So once we kind of get confirmation on our plans, we'll update you guys. And so make sure that you're following us. Yeah.
All right. Next episode will hit on February 11th. So it'll be just in time for Valentine's Day. So until then, you guys stay warm out there, stay game-tastic, and game responsibly.
See you guys next time.
Bye. We're waving again. Why are we waving again?
Because they have to feel our love, Tiff. They have to feel the love.
I'm going to go take a shower. Good night, folks. Bye.